Hello Americans and Elon Musk. This is the whole truth, nothing but the truth. The FBI is recorded involved with wire crime acts methods and with other agencies and with Connecticut police departments, with the same houses personally and professionally involved with them, with a bunch of people from other areas. And Weathersfield police attached me to fake conversations with them as a kid, now as an adult. And he was like, oh, I can't do anything about that. Well, that's the point. There are all kinds of scams involved with them with this. Intercampuses, intercities, with the same house slash S further with a whiting forensics through time. All kinds of digital crime acts and methods. And Twitter has the FBI with an upskirt picture sent to me. And it believes I want, as one of the people that put me in a fake conversation about, as I believe, but I'm not going to say who it is. Because they attached me to fake conversation with them as a kid and as an adult with one of the families involved with the police, a bunch of police families. These are also people that have doctors that have fake conversations with me, that were involved with a whole bunch of people personally and professionally with the same house, that attack wire crimes with the FBI, with the state police families, interstates, in foreign countries, foreign and domestic military, associated with Ray Colon, and a whole bunch of people tied to him, like a Paul Zano and a Jonathan Mayano, involved with people in my area, recorded, confess, demonstrate, confirm, involved with sequence shifts and covering up live progressions where they've been putting predicate acts with facts in databases, child abuse, identity theft, frauds, all kinds of federal evidences rackets rolled with all sides of criminal and civil cases and the court's names and the police forms and their sources, even mayors, families, and cells, increasingly having to put the same sequence shift cell value. And collusions. These are people out of the state corrections offices. The people further involved with proven child abusers, leaders of the kids' first sports, sexual, medical. These are the same ones with overt criminal enterprises involved with the syntax communications and functioning at campuses the youngest ages. And like, for example, a whole bunch of people talked about Heather Hansen. I never saw her in a campus in my life until high school. And the exception was in the summer. I had a summer school class. They put Heather Hansen, Joe DeMore, and Ray Colon involved with me. A bunch of people tied to Ray Colon, who was increasingly involved with a Phil Colon and whiting forensics with a Bob Chase and state police and families interstates at the same exact time as time collusions with overt criminal enterprises, private ones, and terrorists. They have people named Scalora involved with them with the FBI and courts, families at Central Connecticut State University in New Britain, Connecticut. There have been roles with names. I've been planting evidence on all sides of my house since I was a kid. And they've been planting evidences at boxing gyms and with the departments of Central Connecticut State University and other universities. They're changing and faking what's recorded at universities and even at police stations. They're just faking transcripts and ties to kids at the same time as time collusions with foreign doctors, too. Psychiatry has long been tactically delusions raw, too. So Twitter has an upskirt picture after the principal child abuser was put in jail for upskirt pictures. I recorded that first. And retired police chiefs, a police chief Santana at the time, his and their intimate ties have roles with this 80 Carriage Hill Drive with a Ray Colon, more than one person with the name Ray Colon involved with the ones with the name Zano and Amayano involved, and a Phil Colon with a Bob Chase at Whiting Forensics with a Joshua Julian too. People from Eric Jensen also recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed. My neighbors confirmed he was planting evidence on all sides of my house, roles, and with his educators, and educators I never had, and where they live and next to their houses. Now, these are people with whiting forensics that have judges that are refusing to identify themselves legitimately as their roles with overt criminal enterprises and private ones with the kids and their family through time. Now, let's get the Weathersfield police on the phone. You guys are speaking about violence. That's involved with violence. These are involved with people with threats, multiple violence threats, and with incredible ones. They were involved with identity theft, fraud, slanders, putting conversations with me in databases, running into Hartford Hospital to be patients And it include especially the proofs that they put people appearing to be patients, but they're police forms, and they're making a whole fake array of sides that are all fake. They're just changing and faking what's actually recorded. This is even they'll confess this to you. The other ones will change what they say and will apologize. They better. And they better get on paper one fast. Because I've been asking every year since before the World Trade Center attack to have a response. And I noticed those people too involved at the World Trade Center and spots next to it, including the court next to it, which is proven afterwards having had a sequence shift affected from inside the court right before the World Trade Center attack. People involved with that and names on all sides of that case were also increasingly the ones that were involved with me, with predicate acts of me at Central Connecticut State University in Britain, Connecticut, and with ones who've been planting identity theft, fraud, slanders around my house since I was a kid. All nature's investigators, even when they have truths related to that, they're using those truths as lies. They're faking exceptions and to hide way worse collusion /S. Roles with identity theft, fraud, slander. It's important to note it that way because it's against every single person how that hyperforeign breaching method made roles A through Z, including through different countries, entrenched sickly distinctly northern colonies and southern colonies, but sickly non-distinctly. They had slavery in northern colonies and southern colonies, and then America's founders were born. That's not clear because they need people to pretend passions and emotions, like, for example, with the Holocaust, to pretend things that are debatable that are not. All those sides had collusions with psychiatry, and they still do. Tactically delusions raw, criminally foreign influence, and with differences brackets. With A through Z differences, use tactical terror from nature's. Oh, that's your opinion. Yeah, well, then don't change and fake my opinion with some nutbags with the religions into branching with the Board of Education. And then you have to value the fake conversations with me with them. In other words, so they have the KKK and that symbol. Yeah, these are courts with some black KKK, Confederate flag theme, Latino theme, roles with sexual and medical offenders of kids and criminal enterprises with their family members. All kinds of predicate acts with facts roles, only capable of being. That's why they can't afford to have discern. What nature shows us that witch trials are about, regardless of who made them up. There's a witch trial place next to Webb House, now renamed the Webb Stevens Museum, still communicating other for our founders than they communicated for us to communicate. About they were beginning with we were directed to refer to them plural as James Madison singular, and his plan is what George Washington agreed to use, and that's why he came to Wethersfield, Connecticut, right before the last battle of the Revolutionary War, and used his French general's help to counter-extort, to force the other founders to break the internationally monitored conversations, laws, rules with our syntax, with our sense and sensibilities for itself. Otherwise, that body would be sensed through our own as A through Z, human species volume science. Now a systems tactical terror from the one that's positive onto itself. It's as what is natural, but not only natural as criminal insidiousness. That has not been known since before modern religious messengers were born. The campuses already became a bridge. There are proofs from off them, but specifically to have hyper additional collusions, apparent and real motivations to hide behind and through by a breaching method that knew that nature would continually demonstrate to us. That, for example, one of the things that those laws were where they had slavery, witch trials, all that entrenched, you know, is a human fact treatment nature breaching method. Is a human fact treatment nature breaching method that is unnatural, except for it is only natural as criminal insidiousness per nature itself. Nature itself demonstrates negative value nature progression as acts in natures when we entertain such, even if we don't realize it. And those demonstrations also come with a demonstration of where and how it is more probable that the ancients referred to Lethe of Hades rather than the river of obscurity, the river of Hades, the Lethe of Hades, the river of hell. The Leaf of Hadith is forced space nature transfer, where nature comes also with a special difference, and it's relativity slash hyper relativity to the identity that is the identity of value slash variable regression. That is not our species body, it is not the other species bodies, but it's all species bodies anyway, all things anyway, even anything made up like art. It is the difference as coming to from as with and for the finite or the order of the finite, distinctly, non-distinctly, simultaneously slash hyper simultaneously as itself. The same way, further distinctly, non-distinctly, as an active or grouped. And and the finite is also the individual. Note how we are an individual species body of individual bodies. The all group difference is being generated by that which is generating the other species bodies too. Ugh. All exceptions, exception nature come with demonstration slash that's the same thing, and about exception and exception nature, how it is that distinctly from all other volumes. So when exceptions and exception nature are faked, or leaving out other exceptions or relativity slash hyper relativity, is relativity. In other words, we could sense that we're supposed to be a hypernative system appreciating water and why and how we need to hunger and thirst through systems now tactiliterior than its system. We know that this is sickly distinctly an imposition upon Native Americans A through Z. We can discern that and how the differences of their tribes, their names, is exploited multi-front by this breaching method. The same one that needs it measures and maintains things. How are we going to respond to things like the swastika? We should have known clearer than day. The people of Germany, the people of America, with the same. We haven't even had right through our schools. They have other things, others, ourselves blamed for things our founders communicated to blame on the breaching method. How they got away with this was increasingly people tied to psychiatry. That like Harvard Hospital has roles with people at each campus I went and next to it with identity theft, fraud, slanders. They even pretended through the news I had ties to doctors that weren't at all as a kid, and now as an adult too, including the ones I was near real briefly. They can't even. They have to hide that, so they have their colleagues also. I never even met. They put fake conversations with me. Increasingly, these are people involved with houses on Copper Mill and on Church Street in Old Weathersfield who recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed. Strangers to me were influenced to pretend other, make fake exceptions. I don't even know all their names. As the ones involved with the houses near me, involved with and their roles with home break-ins through the time, and with different people involved with that. Like a Joe DeMora was involved one time with Heather Hansen in there. Joe DeMora also said that he has roles with the corner of the street, other corners of the street, people on other corners on Church Street in Old Weathersfield, with predicate acts, with federal evidence of crimes, wire crimes, and child abuses, and people involved with them are also recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed with them involved with them, with elderly homes, and with some untimely deaths. One at Trinity College, but and with one of them at the houses. One of the houses Heather Hansen broke into years ago. There is proof that might have been a murder too, and made it look like it was because they make fights between people that are needed. In other words, they're planting evidences relative to where and to how they've been using all nature's investigators. Remotely criminally foreign influence. There are proofs that there were other natures of investigators going on before the woman died at that house, involved with one of the brothers. I don't know who the people are there. They non-verbally recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed with my past neighbors and other Weathersfield police and FBI. Non-verbal, like Kevin Dillon, he went like that to my new neighbor's house, like 3 months after my father passed away. as recorded confessed demonstrate confirmed collusion with a whole bunch of people at Hartford Hospital who have identity theft, fraud, slanders, federal evidences, crimes, wire crime acts, and methods with the FBI and with the Kevin Dillon. He also non-verbally, but it's recorded too, has collusions with a whole bunch of people at Hartford Hospital that involved with the Parks and Recreation, involved with the Joe DeMauro, and with Ray Claw and a Chris Walters with identity theft, fraud, slanders, with the police forms, with the roles with all natures of police forms, the roles with intelligence at and next to the corrections offices, at and next to Hartford Hospital, and with people at and next to Central Connecticut State University, and all along Route 175. Chris Walters, recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed. My neighbors and Mike Pandolf are involved with them. Mike Pandolf's also involved with a big YouTuber with boxing things. Ross, I don't know his last name. Please, Ross.